All right. Ooh, I don't think it's working at all. We're good now. Okay. I just had to restart OBS. It's really fucking weird that it does that sometimes. I genuinely don't know why. But I have enabled some other settings that will hopefully help. My internet speed is fucking fantastic still. However, for some reason, as of late, I haven't been able to get above 4,000 kilobits per second when I should be getting 6,000. I always used to get 6,000 or above, like as like a rate I could stream at. But lately, it's been 4,000. But I have enabled a thing now where it will just, instead of buffering, it will just lower the quality of the stream temporarily. So that should help. All right. Yeah. Cool. So nothing else really happened. You might have, if there's a large delay, you might want to refresh. Oh, Rock Zero's here. Cool. Medical went off immediately as soon as session started, so I should get out there. I'm not medical, but I should still be there because that's, you know, Leneth wants to see what's going on. That's really all there is. I'm gonna quickly take a drink before I get out there, though. If there's any delays, maybe if like the stream might be a bit far behind, I'd suggest refreshing quick, reloading the page, because I noticed on my end at least it's pretty delayed, even just from just starting. It's usually pretty quick on that, but I don't know. Okay. Delay test. You just sent it like a second ago. I don't know. Were you? What would you have done if I didn't read that? Because it's not like it would have showed up on stream. Well, people are leaving instance. Uh-oh. Let me get out there, actually. Maybe I'll take a drink in a minute. I gotta turn that off, though. There we go.
What I do appreciate, though, is that he feels trusted, and that's more important to me than anything.
Definitely. Glad he feels trusted. That's the main thing.
Yes, we are a people that once you gain our loyalty, we wear our hearts on our sleeves. We will definitely prove through actions that we appreciate our, the loyalty bond that we make. I wouldn't know
Do
though
be
because
careful.
that butt keeps bringing up that I don't have any friends. But hopefully that changes.
You know what? That's fair. You know what? Now you can say, I do have a friend. You just put my name for it if you want to. If you want to gloat about it.
I've got a few I can send pen pal notes to now. Oh.
Ah, well, hopefully enjoy your pen pal. Hello. Good morning,
Morning.
Leneth.
How are we
Good morning.
doing today?
I'm doing better than I was, but still kind of iffy.
That's good.
Other than that,
Hmm.
Liang went to go see what the bell was and pretty
Right.
much got
I should probably go do the
separated.
same, to be
Oh,
honest.
did all of you need to go? Am I holding you?
No,
Sure, you're
at
fine.
I don't have anywhere to go. People are just kind of curious about the bell and seeing what's going on.
We should set a goal soon for my streaming stuff. Like one big goal I have to hit by the end of the year once I start full-time streaming. I'll let you guys think on that. I got some ideas. Some of them are not really possible unless I really dedicate myself to it. Let's go to here.
Hey, Leneth.
Morning. You know if
Yeah.
everyone's alright? I just got up, I heard the bells go off.
Well, if you have nothing to actually do in there, I wouldn't advise poking into the medical bay. They will
Yeah,
handle it, no matter
I
what it
figured.
is.
That's what I was asking out here,
Yeah.
instead of poking my head in. Alright.
I'm not going to be disclosing any medical details, but don't expect that you'll be getting anything from Cassidy today.
Right.
Yeah.
Noted. Alright. Well, hopefully they're alright.
He's gonna be up for a count.
Alright. Thank you. Cassidy's hat. Guess the professors have returned. They're gone for a few days. I can do 100 million subs. Like, here's a couple, like, base goals, right? So we could do Twitch partner. A very difficult one to get. And not one to depend on getting either. But we could do that. We could set a YouTube goal. Say I start doing YouTube. Let's say 5,000 subscribers on my main channel by the end of the year, right? Something like that, right? Like mini goals, yeah. Mini goals along the way, right? I think I want to have a sub goal of, I think I was going for 100 subs. I think I want to hit, I think by the, like, when I start full-time streaming, when I'm doing it right, and assumedly we're, you know, growing, I think I want to go for 100 subs. I've never gotten that many before. I've gotten in the 35 to 60 range, I think, before. But, you know, only the highest I've obviously gotten would be in September. I thought that was a fucking sea monster. That's seaweed. So, 100 subs could be a good goal. If I wanted to be a little bit crazy, if I wanted to go for like I think I should go for an unrealistic goal, to be honest. I'm not the type of person to like to do mini goals. I like to go for big goals and then push myself to achieve them. So I think we do, by the end of the year, I need to hit 1,000 subscribers or I delete my channels. How about that? 100 Gargolian subs. What, should I rebrand my, like, should I rebrand my sub points into Gargolians? Instead of big boy points? Big boy points are pretty cool. You gotta love having your big boy points.
Then why do you need a peace
again.
offering? You've already won.
My sister, where is she?
You've already proven you're stronger.
That I would not know. I didn't see
You're
her
drinking
in
the peace offering
dorm when I
too.
woke up.
You're drinking.
She was at our dorms
She's
They get
walking
it.
around
when I
with
left
Misty.
just a little bit ago.
God,
She was talking to
she
Misty.
must miss me before training.
Not today,
Most likely.
apparently, though. I guess.
Is peace not an option?
Pigeon.
Peace is never
It
an
can
option.
be.
Pigeon. Peace is not an option.
What you're doing, I don't know if I can call it peace or not.
Oh, scared
Yeah, peace being an option really does depend on the task at hand.
That's the first time that's no, you.
For the most
sometimes
part.
you
Maybe.
For example, if the task is war, peace is not often an option.
I just walked up to it and I just picked it up and it was like, okay. No, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go about this.
I mean, it was at the beginning.
Peace is an option in avoiding war.
It means negotiations broke down.
Peace is usually an option before the war starts, kinda in the middle, and near the end.
And then near the end, they're given a last chance.
And the near the end is more like,
Hmm.
hey, if you don't do peace, one of you's gonna disappear forever.
Is it still peace at that point?
It's
Peaceful.
It is technically peace. It is, however, somewhat forceful.
It's putting a mana rifle to their head and saying peace or no.
It's a choice. Good morning, Victor.
Morning.
Oh, just put the tea. I actually
You're
didn't
either
read that.
ready to go out somewhere or starting to practice.
Practice. After class.
Ah.
If there is one.
Ah, I see.
It's one of the professors. I went to check what was going on at medical. Didn't really get much.
Well, he looks fine, so he's not the injured one.
Oh, it's most definitely Cassidy. I got a vague statement about Cassidy. Don't expect to do anything with Cassidy for a while, which either means he's injured or deceased. I'm assuming he's not dead though. I think
I
they
feel
would
like
phrase it
they
differently.
wouldn't say for a while
True.
if he was dead.
You never know. Weird things I'm
And-
sure have happened.
I guess.
I really doubt anyone here is going to practice necromancy on the professor.
That would be weird. And really concerning.
If allowed the opportunity.
Fair.
I would love to practice flesh weaving on him. His corpse, that is.
You know,
Flesh weaving is not a term I've quite heard before.
In our duel, you witnessed my blood magic, yes?
Yes.
In theory, and with practice, it can be used for health benefits. Repairing flesh, for instance. Hence, flesh weaving.
that would be interesting.
Well, is that? It's just strange to think about. I'll have the image of you sewing skin together with more skin.
I imagine. That would be useful for you, wouldn't it? Just for your own personal self.
It would already.
Considering
It would benefit my already improved regeneration, yes.
It'd be really smart. Really smart. Yeah.
would also benefit that most of us can't really do anything to help you.
Exactly.
when you're really
That
hurt.
too. Most of our
You know,
magical healing is light or divine.
Yeah. I'm sure nature healing doesn't really do anything either.
Unfortunately, no.
Hmm. Yeah, it would probably be good if someone could learn, like, dark affinity healing.
That would be interesting. Wonder what that would entail, though.
Doesn't have to be necessarily necrotic healing or necromantic healing, but just using the dark affinity to either close wounds or wrap it up, kind of thing.
Then you get into the argument of what counts as a necromantic healing. Is it any healing that is not light or divine? Since necromancy on its own is not based in any affinity on its own.
It's usually the act of either transferring life energy from one to another, or
Professor?
the art of altering
Morning.
how life
Morning,
energy
Professor.
is moving.
Good morning.
I
Green tea
didn't see
today.
our
Okay.
captain come off the ship with you. Is he
Pretty
still
much messing
resting?
with the flow of life force.
He is.
Something like
He's a bit
that.
exhausted right now, but he's all right.
Both
Don't
good
worry,
points.
he ain't dead. Not yet.
Rather than that, it sounds more naturey.
Good to know.
Hmm.
Kinda. I always viewed nature as like
Have a glass of milk. It might help settle your stomach.
like fast forwarding
Thank you kindly.
what's already there, while
Glass
necrotic
of
is more
milk.
of taking from something and putting it into another.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing from something and
So Crystal Thorn
Yeah.
runs
like that.
just a little cafe right outside of their dormitory.
Like one of our old students, Victor would remember,
Nice, cozy little place.
Specca.
You need a coffee or an
Her
orange juice or even a
healing,
bagel in the
she
morning.
took either from
Very simple.
herself or from things around
come
her
on
and
over here.
healed people with it.
That's
What?
interesting.
Where do we put our silverware afterwards? She would know best.
Once you're finished.
In the barrel here.
If she was
Josh.
still around, yeah.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah. Be a nice conversation to have at some point, eventually. Someone.
Do also be careful with some of the birds around campus. Some of them can seem like they,
She was good to have around because she was kind of the
they've grown attached
only
to a
person
few
that
of the
could heal
buildings.
you.
There's one that stays up there, big ass crow.
Oh, what will it do? Will it attack
Ignis
me?
mourns her
Or
None
possibly
to attack
loss.
us. None.
She
none
was-
unless they're attacked first.
Right.
I enjoyed talking
They
to
seem
her
to have
and
declared
hanging
war
out with
against
her because it
people,
was
so-
interesting because me and her used to have talks about the differences between the
Absolutely.
necromantic aspects versus the aspects of light and things like that. It was interesting to get different viewpoints.
Agreed.
But no, thinking now more about it on the healing aspect, it really would be nice if, other than yourself, if someone else could learn some type of affinity that would allow them to heal people who can't be healed by light affinity or nature affinity magic. Because it'd be hard for you to heal yourself if you are unconscious.
I could see the benefit, although being unconscious and someone attempting to mess with me does not put me at ease.
Well,
I'd rather
no.
let my body do its own healing.
I was more meaning of if you got to the state of your body can't keep up and you're unconscious, type of unconscious.
I suppose something like that is only easy to say for someone with regenerative abilities like yours.
True, I don't know the full extent of your ability to mend yourself. I couldn't fathom that. That's one thing. Most people, if they are gravely injured and unconscious, generally means there's a high chance that if they are not tended to, their body's going to give up on them.
When it comes to myself, never in that state, which would never happen, merely leaving blood.
Okay.
But absolutely don't confidently do we have any dark affinities in mental body?
I don't think we do.
Not that I can.
Isn't Dita in Med Squad?
Does she have a dark affinity? I don't know.
I know she has a wind
dark
affinity.
and wind.
She was water and wind.
That might be something to
She's dark and wind.
To look.
I'm trying really hard to do this thing right now. Okay.
She did at me about such a thing during the tournament. She had no knowledge, though, to see if I did, and I told her that I was trying to start her heart. Yep. So, I wasn't much help, to put it simply.
I got her about that. Okay.
I need you to augment my winds with holy magic so we can bless the winds down in Valandor.
Please don't do that.
Just bless
Oh,
you.
wonderful.
Oh, we're already doing this.
Hey, Victor, you want to give it a go?
Oh, he's here.
Here, Ellie has a book for you.
I got
Victor.
a book. Yeah, I got a book from Rainer. Apparently, him and a bunch of the professors went to like a fucking crypt or something. It's a book that says how to take care of undead. He thinks it'd be a bonding experience for us, and I can learn a thing or two. There's like a vial of blood hanging from there. They say not to drink it because it's from a crypt, so it might be like rotten. But yeah, it's how to care for undead, or how to care for zombies undead. It's about a bunch of undead. I don't know how to take care of you.
Has to be a joke.
He's also got to read it to you because you can't read it yourself.
This is humiliating.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't know who he was talking to.
I was just
Like,
upstairs,
well,
yeah.
you can't read, so I'm like, oh, okay, he's talking to me. That's
Almost
cool.
no one goes upstairs. That's fine.
That's why I went up there.
I don't know. Misha said it was legit. Can't believe you found.
Yeah, almost
him.
no one
It's
goes
from
up there.
the
Sometimes I like to just sit up there and take a drink
My
because I know no one's gonna
Just
bother
because
me.
it's from a crypt doesn't mean
It's
it's
true.
legit.
Nice.
I don't know. Well, then we can read about it and have a laugh about it.
In all
about how
actuality, though,
stupid
Gavin.
it is.
How familiar are you with construction magic?
Even real blood.
They say it's real. Just don't.
What do you
It's
mean?
probably rotten because it's probably
Like
done
how
there for
I
so
form my
long.
blade out of wind.
I wouldn't. I would not sample it.
I have
It looks
never
very
attempted.
Old. Yeah.
I have mostly enhanced.
morning.
Good morning.
already,
What's up?
Hey.
established
It's not the
weaponry.
right. I'm seeing things. Okay.
That is
never
exactly
mind.
why I wanted
I'm
it.
scared of
I
it.
thought that I was seeing things.
Because
It's
Oh,
a
I was
bird.
thinking
I'm sure it's
theoretically,
fine.
if you
It
could
is a
learn how
bird.
to form a
It's a
glyph
pigeon. Very nice
that
pigeon.
one could fire
Dita.
magic through, could enhance
Yes?
it as it's taught
Here it comes.
drawn through, could have some holy
morning, Coretta.
abilities.
Here it comes.
Oh, that Dita was brought up in conversation a minute ago. I figured it was going to get brought up again.
like,
If you
gonna take
would,
care of
please
zombies,
refresh me
Fair.
on the
undead.
abilities you
Into
have.
that to
I don't
see
know,
if I
man.
can do something
There's
like
a map
that.
like we're
wind and
emergency
dark?
for you.
Something to
I
look
know
into.
what to do.
It might not be
There's
possible,
something
but
we need.
it would be
Maybe
useful.
there's something in there.
Obviously, the closest thing I've ever done is obviously conjuring a
Oh,
temporary
we
shield.
were-
Anyway,
I'm infused as a
We're
conjurer.
talking
trainer
about you
is
for a
looking
moment.
for one of the giants. So if you see Augusta, maybe point her in the
Allegedly,
direction.
Victor does know of something called flesh weaving, and he knew of a spellcaster who,
If I see her or Liang, I'll point them.
from what I understand,
Point 'em over there.
Visualize that.
drained the life
Appreciate it.
from either
Actually, yeah,
herself
you
or
have
things
help
around
with
her.
direct contact with both of
You
them.
just think of like a star.
Frustrating Professor, I don't know if he's coming back to the RP or not.
And then another person.
He was on break from RP. They're played by the Sidious. They were on break from our RP. And I don't know if they are coming back or not at any point. I have not heard anything. So. Good morning.
Good morning.
That was. He looks different.
Fred. Hello.
Is
What's the matter?
Is Chips all right?
Was he acting weird?
Oh, he just looked a little bit different than I remember.
Oh. Yeah, I think he got a haircut or something.
It seemed longer. So.
Hmm.
I don't know. I didn't get a
Maybe
good look at him. He just walked
I
past.
don't really pay attention to his hygiene, I guess. I did see that we have a pigeon that just stole a whole ass loaf of bread.
No, good on him. Maybe he needs that bread. Maybe it's for his pigeon family.
Good for birds.
See if there's any new news.
Oh, I actually didn't check.
I think it's the same, right? I think it's the same.
Yep, looks like it.
Yes. Yeah, Sarah definitely doesn't look like that anymore. Weird. Is Liang going somewhere? Oh, and they're gone. Okay. Oh.
Morning, Len.
Morning again, Cortez. Where are you going? Where are you headed?
Probably to check the dorm. The arena is empty right now, so I was just doing some training with my weapon.
I was thinking about training, but
I believe Misty was talking with Rosa for a bit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do some extra training too, but I also need to have certain energies present. It makes it easier to focus on the spells that I want to learn.
All right. I figured I'll train after we go through whatever happens in the morning. It makes it easier than starting the train, then stopping, and then having to start again, or, get cut off early.
Right. I hate doing one lap and then hearing a bell ring.
Yep. Maybe I'll just wait until we see if we have a lesson today. We see what happens in the morning. Just wait and see. Liang, you all right?
Both of you.
Hello.
Doing alright. Yeah, I just dropped some boots. Professor Rainer gave me a little present from their mission. They found a nice pair of boots that were kind of like my size.
That's nice.
So I just set them in my room. Yeah. I can finally have something more comfortable than dealing with this ones.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean,
I just have a lot of blueprints. It's great when numbers match. If you see Professor Barry, and just let me know what.
I think I heard he was
I don't think I have.
tired.
And?
Alright.
Good morning.
How about you? Anything new?
Nothing new.
Good morning.
Let them do their thing. Nothing new. I'm just sort of going around.
Thank you.
Not much on the
The same. I
plan
did say it.
today.
I was doing a little bit of endurance. Did a lot of laps in the arena.
Right. Yeah. I'm probably gonna do some training in a bit.
Since that everyone. I saw Professor Rainer told me that the mission to Fallbrook, at least the pathway clearing, was okay. Everyone came back, but mostly one of them got burned.
Oh, is that what happened to Cassidy?
But they're all alive. Maybe.
I
It won't
was.
surprise me if it's Cassidy since he's mostly fire.
Well, that would be surprising, but again, I was told something about Cassidy being out for a while.
I see. So probably will make.
Got something for you or Augusta.
I already got it.
Gotcha.
It was a pair. It was a pair of nice dark boots. My size for a change.
Yeah, I don't know if Nefi's brother has come back yet
Sure,
either.
I guess that makes sense. Well,
I think they're still
congratulations
around.
on your new boots.
But
Thank you. So far, everything's okay. Misty's still over there. Oh, they're all coming out. Now I'm gonna see how Stark and...
there it is.
Never mind.
No, you're not.
I don't have an option. Different route for gallons. You usually take yellow. Not yellow, orange.
I always take red. My fault.
No, you're fine. It's whatever.
It doesn't make much difference. It's about the same distance,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, I used to think red was faster, but it seems about the same.
It does feel about the same because with orange, you still got to do the backtracking from the entrance.
To the next stairs.
Yeah. It's almost the same, yeah. Yeah, it's actually the same distance if you see it.
I like the other way. It feels weird going that direction.
Let's see.
Thrown in their face.
That's part of the point.
They are. They're never dead.
Wonderful.
Like anyone.
Good, I like that.
I did a 360. My brain did not compute at all.
You got this.
Do you know where you are, Miss Fee?
No.
Ironic.
What is this place? Are you in my imagination?
Possibly.
I'm freaking out.
Where your conscience divided into so many people.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is my actual like fantasy world. I'm actually like sitting on a really comfy chair right now. Like,
I'm sure it's someone's.
Just don't take your medication, otherwise we disappear.
You know, you need to keep that imagination alive, Misty. Let's all pretend we're
Do
sitting
I?
in soft objects.
yeah, soft objects with like really like you know uncomfortable
The sleep demon stole my sleep.
in our faces.
What?
Do
At
I?
least you don't have smiley faces etched into your shit.
You're welcome.
You may
I'm
be
going
seated.
to etch shit into your chair.
Right.
Well, you can because I do it
Today
every
we'll be
day.
having a lesson. I believe we have some fairy mail, so I will let that actually happen
Awesome.
first, because I believe we have a bit.
Please don't be mail for me. Please don't be mail for me. Please don't be mail for me.
Why are you afraid of mail for you?
Mail.
Well, they
Please don't be
do
mail.
so. The professor here will explain a bit of his lesson today. If you're ready.
Right. We'll be meeting back in the same lecture hall on the left, and today we'll be covering the first half of the cultures for the upcoming visit to Fallbrook. There ended up being quite a bit more background information that I believed was necessary. for the vampires, so theirs is being split into a first part.
Splitting vampires, nice.
Ah, here you are.
Oh, thank you.
Letter for you.
If my faculty and Judge has nothing else to say.
Be certain. Clubhouse.
Very well. You're dismissed.
I hate
Get to class.
That's a
I
that's
fucking
a new
hate
fairy.
you.
Don't go any further, we're gonna get sued.
We're gonna get sick.
Maybe that fairy can deal with that bee problem we were dealing
It's
with.
fine. It's fine. We have an entire. I have all of Crystal Thorn. The litigation will be tied up for months.
Someone say the door to darkness.
It's nice to hear you from
Wait, we have a B problem,
Very deeply.
but not an A problem.
Yeah,
What happened to that?
What do you mean? They skipped a few steps. That's all.
If you can't wait, you can
I would advise
I
as the
see.
class, but if you think you have enough time to read it now, then
Feel free to join
certainly.
the class as usual, upstairs or in the seats. Doesn't matter.
Also, I mean,
The
probably
beekeeper with the door bees.
upstairs, I guess.
I
this time.
didn't talk it up.
Unless you don't mind your
It's an entire door like this size, completely filled with bees. It's kind of scary.
What the hell
Oh,
are you talking about?
right.
What
Yeah, I bet that fairy would be
Bee?
really great at dealing with
Yes, Zachary.
the bees.
Yeah.
After class. You look so fucking tired.
Bro, I've not been sleeping. So.
Go to bed.
Dude, go
to sleep. I'm gonna make you count.
It's not that fucking easy, dog.
The bees, Sora.
Stark to put you to sleep.
I understand.
Stark can easily put you
Zachary,
to
just
sleep.
sleep in class. It's not like they'll find
I
out.
can put you to sleep forcibly. You just won't like it.
Nah.
What if you like? What if you just like?
will hurt the next morning.
Several people here
What?
who will
No,
eat
Stark. I was going to say rather than that, because I assume everyone assumed it that way. What if you just mix your wind with puppy?
You always sit in the back line, Zachary. You can sleep there. I'm pretty sure they're not looking at you.
Oh, never mind.
Put the book in your face. Do the technique.
Advanced.
Sure. You know,
puffin
I
him.
will be doing that. I will be doing that. I'm going.
Come on, let's take our
Hey,
place.
hold on,
the door.
Of course you're gonna go to
Snooze, you lose, Stark.
What, Misty?
My seats. My poor precious seats.
I'm gonna go to my normal natural space.
This is your natural
I've
space over here.
etched 7 different Yeah, I etched 7 different smiley faces in this table.
Right.
I'll
Sure.
fix it if it's fine.
Sure. I'm sure you will.
I can make a whole ass table.
I always fuck
That
around.
is my table. I can do what the fuck I want.
Ellie, stop fucking around.
Maybe you should get like a little, like just your name carved into it right there, so people know that nobody else is allowed to stand and sit in this specific spot.
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, okay. That's easy.
Will do so.
I'll put the, I'll put the. I don't have a last name. Actually, I would get my last name. Actually, it's fine. Well, technically, no. I do have a last name. I just added it. I don't fucking know anymore.
Since the portal's gonna pull her.
Anna.
That sounds weird.
Sorry, was someone sitting here?
Eventually come back.
took me away
Ooh, lag. Okay, hold on.
You must pay the toll, Hannah. You must pay the toll.
Just try carving your name into the desk. It makes it easier to know if it's your spot.
Just about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You can be there.
I'm ready to learn.
You want to feel tall for this?
Okay, this is stuff that you know a lot of, probably.
All right. So, hello everybody. Today, I'm a little bit more excited. This is actually a little bit more of what I was interested in teaching. I'm very interested in the cultures of the world and the different ways that they interact and have developed over time. So, and especially covering the vampires is going to be very interesting, given well, the different influences that have occurred over time. We'll say. Now, unfortunately, the Darklands are very aptly named. They are both murky in appearance, as well as the contents of their ancient history, which has obfuscated quite a bit of the past. However, I do believe it is important to understand at least a little bit of a culture's history and background in order to really understand them and why they are how they are. So I will go into a very brief synopsis of what we do know.
Remember this shit, chat. This is very important. You got to be smart on
So,
this mission.
Quite a long time before vampires existed, there have been humans in this region, specifically north of the Cliffs of Faust in the Darklands proper. And they were mostly a cluster of smaller kingdoms at the time. Not a lot is known about them, however, there are a few that are historically relevant, and as such we know a bit more about them. We have Agmarwun, Nosferet, Van Goth, and Ukias.
Nosferatu, Van
Now,
Gogh,
these
and
kingdoms
Ukias?
comprised a number of their own peoples, of course, but they were also influenced at times by migrations northwards from some of the different, more pagan cultures who are at the fringes of a different kingdom south of Faust, one that some of you all may have heard of, called Camelot. There is a very long and bloody history of conflict between the knightly kingdoms of Camelot as well as some of their neighbors and the more pagan kingdoms of the Darklands, and these conflicts often spilled over into Camelot's borderlands, with pillaging parties venturing south and swiftly being attacked by the Inquisition and repelled back into the north. Eventually there were, well, through armed force, some treaties formed at the time that sort of were mostly respected. Mostly being the emphasis. And remember, this is all before vampires even existed. I'm clarifying that because there's another set of treaties that's similar. But around the year 150, there was a baron of Nosferet named Vlad, and he rose to prominence primarily on the back of his staunch resistance to Camelot and their policies, and well, for frequently breaking those treaties and pillaging and attacking south into Camelot. During several of these battles, he inevitably died. However, posthumously, he was given the honorific title of the Dragon, making him Vlad Dracul, or Vlad the Dragon, among his own people. This is relevant because Vlad Dracul had a son. Information on his early life is also very murky, however, different reports place him as a political hostage being raised by various families in Camelot, perhaps, or maybe one of their neighbors. However, at some point after his father's death, he escaped and returned back to Nosferet. While there, Vlad II reclaimed his family's titles and began a very bloody campaign, basically picking up his father's work, attacking Camelot and then eventually turning on some of the other barons of his own land who were trying to oppose him. He ended up uniting Nosferet, and, well, the efforts of Vlad II earned him a more grim honorific among his own people for how he treated his prisoners, those who resisted him. Vlad the Impaler. This is around the time period where we start to get into the first vampires. And now, again, as I've said, information around this time period is incredibly vague. We don't know how the curse started. We don't even know exactly when, and we don't know who the first vampire was at all. However, it is known that among the first, within the first few years of the curse coming to be, Vlad was one of them. And he took full advantage of this curse, along with slowly afflicting his followers and his people. He turned his sights from Camelot and quickly conquered the other kingdoms of the Darklands, uniting them under Nosferet. This war eventually spilled southward, along with the plague being spread, into the lands of Camelot and the others south of the Cliffs of Faust, and this is what is known historically as the beginning of the Vampire Wars. I know you've all been taught a little bit about the Vampire Wars, so I won't be going into too much more detail from there. But that is at least how they came to be. From there, now that we have a bit of an understanding of their general history at least, I'll begin moving into a bit more of the culture. As some of you have probably heard, vampire culture is very heavily based in decadence, indulgence, and the arts. Given the fact that they live for incredibly long amounts of time, as you might imagine, they would get bored, and also with long life comes great skill in their various crafts. Vampire crafts are considered some of the highest quality in the world because of this, rivaling even the elves. Vampires are also very prone to indulging in their decadence with various rituals and holidays and festivals and things. Amongst these, the blood moon is one of the most exalted. On the blood moon, extravagant hunts and feasts are often held, and at the culmination, when the moon reaches its peak in the night sky, there are festivals that will spill into the streets. Similarly, eclipses are also celebrated, especially if they occur at night. Partygoers will often don intricately designed parasols in order to block out the sun to observe any eclipses that occur during the day. And these parasols are woven with patterns that represent some of their ambitions and expectations for the coming year, sort of as a good luck talisman of sorts. There's a whole bit of political intrigue and a bit of a game with spies trying to catch glimpses and interpret the weavings that are on rival politicians' parasols for political gain, of course. And it's sort of played up as a bit of a game every year. Further, a less commonly celebrated form of party amongst the vampires are grand masquerades. As you've probably heard, vampire society is very rigidly structured in a social hierarchy from the lords of the council all the way down to the lowest thin blood. However, at masquerades, given the anonymity, a lot of these hierarchies and expectations fall aside as everyone stands as equals anonymously. There are often tales of political intrigue and reckless debauchery on those nights that spill over and get exaggerated every year as the tellings sort of get more and more, well, debased in a bit of a show of one-upsmanship every year. Speaking of that hierarchy, to touch into that one a little bit, vampire society is very rigidly structured into a hierarchy that is rarely strayed from outside of some social events. And at the head of this society is the council that sits in the Black Citadel. This council is led by the 4 elders, each of whom have 2 lords or ladies that they have either of their own line, be they born or turned. And as I said, they rule from the Black Citadel in Nosferatu.
The Black Citadel.
These 4 elders can trace their heritage back to the first 4 kingdoms that Vlad the Impaler conquered. These being Stygian, Martiella, Armea, and Laishe. Sorry, some of the pronunciations are a bit complicated. Beneath the council as well, each of the 4 kingdoms has their own courts of nobles and lords and their own political interplay based on vaguely on the structures they held before the wars. As for lower on the rungs, onto the more day-to-day social, I'd actually like to call Cadets Chips and Cadet Heinrich to the front, if you would, to explain the differences between full and half-bloods, if you would, in your own terms.
Heinrich?
The difference between full and half-blooded vampires. We want you to explain it.
Ooh. Don't fall.
A little too fast.
You wish for us to explain what, exactly?
The differences in the hierarchy between in the social hierarchy between, full and half-blood, turned, etc. I know there's a lot of distinctions, but they're a bit more beyond my knowledge.
Can you all hear me?
Correct. No.
Yeah.
Alright. Purebloods and half-bloods are separated into in hierarchy. I'm a pureblood, which means I am born of two other purebloods. I was not turned. I was born a vampire. Half-bloods, however, are turned. Chips is a half-blood. Purebloods are seen as superior in every way. Half-bloods are not.
Though half-bloods can be cuter.
Yeah, I guess you said that, King.
They always have to one up each other.
There are also thin-bloods, which are turned by half-bloods. This is looked down upon, as the spread of our kin is dangerous. Anything else, Professor?
I believe that'll be fine for now. I might have some more questions about other topics later, but I have those penciled in my notes. You can say them if you want.
Oh, I don't know if it matters, but just to add, it does also depend on who bit you. Sit down now.
Mic drop.
He's saying the sire matters.
Right.
Interesting.
Well, into the next little bit.
Oh, the Shire's the one that bit.
Despite what some might assume,
Yes.
there are more than vampires living in the Darklands, even beyond Faust. The land is perpetually shrouded in a thick blanket of clouds, keeping it in shade, formed by some ancient spell long ago. Which doesn't make it the most hospitable, but there are many humans that still live there. Those who descend from those who lived there at the time, who were never turned, perhaps, or even some who've migrated in.
So if we did want to pursue it, our best bet would be by a pure
These
blood,
humans are very
as we
carefully
can't achieve
protected
being a pure blood ourselves.
as part of the
It does make it
agreements for their
complicated and a
protection
little
from the
bit
creatures of the
disappointing,
Darklands and from other
but
vampires.
not
They
unexpected
pay
for what we were
blood tithes.
thinking.
I believe it's biannually.
Hmm.
Maybe 3 times a year. I don't remember how often. But these blood tithes are basically the lifeblood of vampires, as without them they would not be able to
A thin blood
sustain
wouldn't
themselves as
be
they
a
have under
horrible
the restrictions of the
option,
treaties, without, raiding south or anything.
but they
like
haven't
that.
made it clear if it's just a social ranking or a power
Anything
thing.
that threatens to damage or complicate
I wonder
this
if they have the
arrangement
same
is usually very
lifespan,
swiftly dealt
the
with
same
by the vampires
strengths.
themselves. Any rogue vampires or feral vampires, or
It could entirely just be a
even
social
in some
dynamic.
cases there have been hunters who've caused some problems that I've heard of. It will be very swiftly retaliated against to
I
ensure
should pay
that the
attention to the lesson.
security of this blood supply is kept. On that, though, that actually brings us into some of the specific terms of those treaties. Now, some of you probably have heard at the end of the Vampire Wars, there was a series of treaties that were written and signed by both sides, and they've been upheld by the Cross-Allied Forces since its formation as well. To clarify, this was long before the Cross-Allied Forces existed.
Jim's also said it
But
depends on the sire. Does that mean getting
these
turned
treaties
by a
basically
stronger
regulate how
pureblood?
and how many
Means in
vampires can
turn
turn,
I would end up stronger?
as well as the legal requirements they need
Or is it
to
again
get
just a pure
permission
social
to feed
dynamic
on
thing?
a living person. One of the other important aspects of these treaties, however, is the blood tax. The blood tax serves a similar purpose to the blood tithe in that it's a method to collect some blood to help supplement the supply up beyond the cliffs of Faust.
I don't think
Anyone
he's.
who wants to enter the Darklands through the gates of Faust, which is the only way to get in without getting immediately, murdered by the dire bats I talked about last time.
He hasn't talked about vampire thralls yet, has he?
Of that blood.
That's what
It is important to remember
Leneth
that
is
by the terms
worried
of
about.
these treaties, no vampire can take your blood without your permission. Some of the more audacious vampires might ask, but whether or not you accept is, well, that's on you. There's technically nothing wrong with it. There's no risk of disease or being turned as long as it's done properly. I don't know how many of you would be willing to take that one, but you can if you want. As for the other terms of the treaty, I'm not familiar with all of the rules that regulate how vampires must behave south of the Cliffs of Faust. If Cadet Heinrich and Cadet Chips, either of you have any comments to add about the treaties that you think would be important?
Go back a blood tax.
Sure. Do not cause another war. These taxes are needed. And abided by.
I just had a
As I said before,
horrible
thin bloods
realization.
are the worst of us, besides ferals. If our kin is to spread, the more holy than thou will attack us. So we refrain from doing so. Rules on it that we are only allowed 2 childs, people to turn, and I their sires. Anything to add?
I don't have much to add other than to tag on to what the professor was saying earlier. My personal opinion, don't give your blood away. Like, if this is supposed to be a prep class, there are so many intricate things that lie within that process that'll make it easier for it to happen again that I'd highly suggest not to engage.
He is correct. There are similar vampires of my skill that can trace such blood, if you are to give it. Vavina, did you have a question?
This include if it was fed upon and not kept in any other way.
The more powerful Mancers, if they were to feed, it has been known they can trace you.
Interesting.
That is all, Professor.
Alright.
Risei has a question.
Oh, Risei.
With us going to Fallbrook, is there any reason that we'd have to worry about potentially being pressed for either of those blood taxes or tithes while we're there?
I believe Fallbrook is exempt from the tithes and the taxes. You're not actually going past the Cliffs of Faust to get there, so you should be fine.
You will get a few beggars here and there.
Know your rights.
Say no to panhandling.
As Chip said, do not give your blood freely, if there is anyone to ask for it there.
We go to rot for our blood.
Don't make me ash somebody if you be
Right.
enough to give your
That's
blood.
all the questions. I will. You can sit back down if you'd like, and I will move back into the final section, I suppose. Now, this final section is a more of a touch on the things that we could be fighting that are vampire related. Hopefully we won't have any issues with this, as they're usually, again, taken care of by the vampires themselves. However, it is possible that we could run into
Dars will do it.
some feral vampires.
He'll see someone begging. He'll be like, "I'll feel bad.
So,
I'll give him blood. I'll feel bad.
I guess to go into what are feral vampires.
I don't need all of it."
Vampires that have been starved for a significant amount of time will often begin to experience a deteriorating, degenerative condition. Their mental faculties will fail. They become dizzy, disoriented, and aggressive, and eventually they lose a lot of their higher cognitive skills. In this state, they're driven primarily just by their instincts to survive, to hunt, and to feed. These are feral vampires. Feral vampires will often begin developing animalistic, bat-like traits as their condition grows worse and worse. Their skin will become leathery, their eye sockets will sink and become hollowed, they'll begin to lose their hair, their fangs and claws will lengthen and grow, and at extreme stages, they can even begin to form wings and tails. Feral vampires can be killed by staking them in the hearts, same as all of the vampires. They will turn to dust. It can also be decapitated, burned, and purged with holy or light magic if it's strong enough and consistently applied. If their condition grows too great, however, and they have indulged and engorged in this state, a feral vampire can become a full-blown Vargeist. Thankfully, from what I've heard, none of these have been encountered south of the Cliffs of Faust in some time, at least not in recent years. However, they are incredibly dangerous. If you do encounter a Vargeist, it is advised that you just retreat. Don't engage unless you absolutely have to. And even then, I'd advise only doing so with the entire academy present. There are special squads of vampires that are known to hunt down Vargeists, and they're only known because sometimes, very rarely, they fail. And even when they succeed, their casualties are usually high. So we will not be engaging any Vargeists unless the entire academy is present, and we absolutely have to. Otherwise, we will be avoiding an encounter. Other than that, I believe I will end the lesson here. We will be having a similar, but probably a little bit shorter, lesson about the werewolves and vampires of Fallbrook, or werewolves and humans, rather, next week. If anyone has any questions or wants to hear anyone else's questions, you can remain here and ask them. Otherwise, you can leave if you would like. Yes, Stark.
Do the feral vampires have any ability to turn?
I believe they can,
Yes.
but they don't come out right. I believe they come out feral, correct?
Correct. Thin bloods.
Yes.
Understood.
So any bites should be very heavily cleansed and treated. Flora.
How can tell difference between feral and Vargeist?
Vargeists are far bigger. Their faces have usually contorted into sort of more of like a bat's snout with a much larger jaw that can open much wider. Their fangs are not just the 2 points, they're rows of jagged teeth. And as I said, they will be much bigger
The
than
entire
a
maw.
feral that has developed wings. Usually, again, double their size, perhaps.
Is you big fucker.
So they should be recognized.
Well, that's something to avoid happening then.
Almost like a predator staring at you.
Gavin.
In the case of running into feral or Vargeists, and obviously you said the best choice of action is to retreat. If they've already noticed us, how fast are they, and what's the best methods of retreat? Because obviously I know vampires are already good at running.
Blind, deter.
For normal feral vampires, you should be able to engage. If you encounter Vargeist and you are being actively engaged by it, I would abandon retreat for the moment and attempt to blind it if you can. blows to the head, blows to the eyes, especially if you have light or holy magic. If you can get close and scold their eyes off, you might be able to retreat if it's disoriented and stunned in that way. They do have some echolocation. However, if you can impair their eyesight to that degree, it should be alright. Trying to find somewhere that's outdoors where there's direct sunlight. Vargeist and ferals can actually be killed by direct sunlight if they're left out long enough, and they avoid it if they can. So if you've already injured a Vargeist and you've retreated into direct sunlight, they might not follow.
Fire. Definitely burn those
So
fuckers.
if nothing else, if it's already actively engaged in you, it's best to bunker down and be defensive and potentially have someone, I would guess, run for, if we have a runner, possible to try and get the rest of the academy to help while we try and slowly retreat.
Yes, if a squad has been pinned down and is actively being engaged, it will be up to the call of the commander, Commander Barian. However, it is very likely that we would mobilize literally everyone present, and we would probably try to get as many of the town guard as we could as well, and we would attempt to move on the location so that you could make a retreat, if possible. Again, it's not something we would want to face with diminished numbers.
Understood. That's why I wanted
May
to...
I, Professor?
Oh, please.
Yes, if you want.
To touch up on Vargeist more. They are much larger than ferals, as Professor Nia mentioned. However, their talons are as long as swords, their hides thick as plate. But what makes them most dangerous is their aptitude for magic. Think of a large wyvern, or dragon, dare I say, that can cast.
Understood.
It is recommended you flee.
Kind.
However, with ferals and Vargeist, they're far more susceptible to divine and light magic. And the sun. Keep that in mind.
Any further?
What kind of spells? Oh, Creta.
I believe Creta has a question, I believe.
Sorry.
Right. Yes, good. Good.
Will we have any supplementary material to review for the laws and societal norms of the area we're going?
I will be touching a little bit more on that when we get to the werewolf and the human section, the next class. Their customs are more applicable, mostly the human, at least for the region that we will be in Fallbrook. And I believe Cadet Dita had a question.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to blurt it out loud, but what you said that Vargeist can cast spells? What sort of spells should we be on the lookout for?
Dita is asking what sort of spells they can cast. Think of the most powerful dark magic.
So necrotic draining and insta death, I guess.
I wouldn't say instant death, unless you fail to run.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Sure.
They have one.
But no doubt, think of what you've seen from me, and multiply it tenfold.
Okay.
AKA not something we want to fight.
Yeah, it's not that. Okay. Just saying. Maybe 100 times.
Those things have had time to feed longer than Victor's probably been alive.
Well, yes. Any other final questions?
If Victor can drain from one wound, nothing can
I
drain
believe
from
that
the
is
entire
everyone then.
body.
Right, you are all dismissed then. And if you think of anything else, I can answer it at the beginning of the next class.
I'm more concerned about the ferals, honestly. Get stuck in a grouping of them and they become annoying.
Oh,
to
and
deal
anyone who
with.
missed, anyone who missed the last class, as I said, you can catch up in the book. There was a new book added to the library if you would check that out. We should have let anyone else who might have missed the creature's lesson know.
It's a good idea to pick up a crossbow again. It's been 3 years since I
Crossbow
held
and
one,
a
but
few
it might be a good
nails.
idea.
That was a very interesting lesson.
I could get you some steel tipping.
Very
I
interesting.
was thinking of wood tipping, actually.
Yeah, you thinking it, Duncan?
Both work just as well, but at least
You're thinking you're
covering
salty?
vampires and
Oh, it's just good to learn more about this problem we might be facing and how to deal with it.
And if you need some extra
Very informative.
bags of silver powder for the cadets that want to carry.
Good here.
When I first arrived
good
here,
at,
my...
you know.
Is there an enchanted broom in there still?
It put itself in my chest, I think.
Thank you, Cadet.
I should probably stand on the other side of the hallway.
Let's see. Well, if we were to pursue it, we definitely know a lot more than we did before. So, if it came down to natural RP about it and we were able to pursue it in some form factor, we have learned a lot. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I could totally imagine a scene with Leneth, like, finding a way to get to the fucking... He would totally make a deal, right? Like, I could see a scene, completely theoretical scene, right? He definitely wants to figure out the power differences. I'll try and figure out how to ask that without sounding... you know what? No, it wouldn't be suspicious at all. I'll find time to ask them later. Because if becoming a thin blood is as strong as becoming a pure blood, power-wise, that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about the society aspect of it at all. He just wants to live longer and become stronger. You Romulus? My God, it's a long time. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, we learned a lot. Sorry, I'm in my menu right now trying to fix something. But my menu runs at 1 frame every about 10 seconds. really fucking stupid, and I don't know why SteamVR does this. And now I'm just frozen in the SteamVR menu. I literally can't do anything. This is fucking stupid. Come on, Steam. Like I don't have a screen right now. You fucking serious right now, Steam? Am I even still fucking here? Dude, this is insane how bad this is. Like, it's just frozen. My SteamVR is just frozen. It encountered a critical error. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Good fucking job, Steam. You're so fucking horrible. Like, it's not that hard to just be... 1 second. I gotta restart it. I don't know why it's gotta be so shit.